Leonard was covered in beastman blood, sprayed on him from the numerous stab wounds he had inflicted on the Ungor that had attacked him. The Ungor that, thankfully, now lay very dead. Its still body only moments before trying to rip him apart with its bare hands. "Well done," Leonard heard behind him, the voice belonging to his guide, Javral.
"Well done! Well done!"
Leonard almost screamed.
"You left me to die!"
"No, I left you to fight," Javral corrected. "And you did. You killed it. You are now part of our tribe. I can now properly guide you."
"But you said this was some sort of coming-of-age ceremony for your people. You have your children fight Ungors?"
"No, of course not. They fight Gors. The especially skilled ones fight the best Gore. For you, I chose something much more within your skill level, and you passed. Now let's get going. We have a herd to track." With that, Javral turned around and walked back down the hill. Bloody and exhausted, Leonard simply followed. I told you already of the Beastmen, the core of the herd, but there are other creatures that follow the Beastmen. Something about their bestial and chaotic nature attracting them, I suppose. The other sentient race in the herd are the Thunderscorn. Now the Thunderscorn are an old race. It is said that they existed before the Age of Myth, and that they were even one of the oldest races in the world that was. Back then, they foolishly made a deal with Chaos. The deal granted them a form of immortality, making them immune to old age and disease, but still vulnerable in battle. The deal also bound them eternally to the Chaos Gods. Then the world that was ended, and I assumed the Thunderscorn thought their oath to the Chaos Gods was over. Sadly, the Chaos Gods aren't one to let a small thing like the shattering of an entire world get in the way of a deal. Sometime later, it is believed, a great and powerful Thunderscorn from the world that was found itself reborn in the mortal realms, specifically in the realm of Azir. This powerful Thunderscorn begat the rest of the Thunderscorn. However, he and all the other Thunderscorn in those times learned the truth. The old deal still held sway. They were still immortal, but also still bound to chaos. Dejected, the Thunderscorn at least had a realm to call their own. Which, when you think about it, isn't too bad. They made Azir their domain, and lived happily ruling over it, and making life hell for any mortals they found, until Sigmar showed up. After a few decisive battles, Sigmar booted them out of Azir and forced them to live in the high mountains of the other realms. When the time of chaos came, the Thunderscorn gleefully joined the forces of chaos, cursing at Sigmar to open his gates so they can rush in and crush the god. A curse only answered when Sigmar unleashed his Stormcast Eternal centuries later. The biggest and oldest of the Thunderscorn, and the leader of a Dragon Ogre tribe, is a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. Since a Dragon Ogre cannot die unless slain in battle, you can be sure the millennia-old being is an experienced and powerful foe. It wields a Stormwrought axe, while using its sweeping tail and taloned forelimbs to rip apart foes. And the lightning that constantly suffuses its body heals nearby Dragon Ogres of any of their wounds. Under the command of the Shaggoth of the Dragon Ogres, massive multi-legged beasts wielding paired ancient weapons, draconic warglaives, draconic crushers, and their own raking foreclaws. And when they are within the presence of a respected Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, the energy of the Shaggoth invigorates them, gaining them more power and skill in a sort of storm rage. Besides the relatively sentient members of the herd like the Beastmen and the Thunderscorn, there are also numerous creatures that follow in the wake of the herd, hoping to either consume the herd's leftovers or join in the slaughter. You wouldn't be surprised to learn that there are those who had a bad roll of the dice when it comes to chaos mutation. Many a beastman take an offering to their Herdstone to...
Herdstone?
I'll explain in a bit. No, don't interrupt. Now where was I? Ah yes. Many a beastman takes an offering to the Herdstone to gain a blessing from chaos, usually gaining an extra eye or longer horns. But on occasion, if the beastman has given an unworthy offering, or maybe has one mutation too many, it becomes rife with chaotic mutations, becoming a chaos spawn, a mindless monster who follows its herd and attacks whatever it faces with a dizzying array of freakish mutations and withering tentacles. It is also often touched by the power of one of the dark gods, although whether the dark gods has some sort of greater purpose for it or just likes the looks of it, I do not know. The descendants of bloodhounds and wolves, the Chaos Warhounds are little more than canine-shaped chaos spawn, fighting with slavering jaws and whatever hideous mutations the chaos gods had bestowed on them. Opportunistic hunters, they prefer to hunt down lone travelers, small patrols, and the unlucky drunk centaur or two. They are also absurdly fast, outrunning Chaos forces to be the first to rip into the enemy. There are few mortal creatures as close to the ideal of Chaos as the Jabber Slythe. A combination of toad, slug, drake, and insect, its very presence causes madness on those near it, and its impossibly sharp vocal claws and massive spiked tail crush those it wishes to consume, and the less said about its piercing slithy tongue the better. And, if you're lucky enough to wound the beast, its very blood can be dangerous, spurting acidic bile that can melt those near it. The cockatrice tends to be a rather reclusive creature, preferring to stay near its cave and turn any unfortunate fool that comes near its home into stone. However, when a beast herd comes near, it won't hesitate to take advantage, staying at the periphery and dooming the unlucky with its petrifying gaze. Although preferring to wait for the perfect time to strike, when it does strike, it is with a maddened ferocity, using its vicious beak and sword-like talons to eviscerate its prey. A chimera is a bestial combination of differing species combined together with the raw power of chaos. A winged monster that flies down with 3 hideous heads. The lion head grabs a foe and thrashes it until it is nothing. Its bird head pierces even the strongest armor, and its draconic head lays out a fiery breath that turns most into ash. Not to mention the mauling claws it puts into great effect when it comes in for a vicious charge. Chaos Gargants are much like any other Gargants you might find in the realms. Big, stupid, and prone to violence. The only real difference being that the energies of chaos causes numerous mutations, which makes them even more prone to rage than regular Gargants. A fact used to great effect by the Beastmen, who whip Gargants into a frenzy to make them even deadlier in battle. Razorgores were once regular Tuskgores. Although already dangerous, the warping powers of chaos has twisted them into even more brutal beasts. They bulge with muscle and their large tusks and hooves are strong enough to pierce most armor. They also have an insatiable appetite, able to consume vast quantities of flesh, plants, and rocks with unnatural fervor. They're also impossible to control. The only way to point them in the right direction is to have some bait, probably an unfortunate Ungor, running in the same direction as the enemy. If successful, the Razorgores lay into the enemies of the Beastmen an uncontrollable stampede. Near the end of his speech, Javral raised a finger to his lips, then nodded his head towards some nearby brush, and slowly started crawling towards it. Leonard followed, hoping this wouldn't be another test. After 10 minutes of crawling through underbrush, and Leonard feeling like his legs were rubbed in hot coals, Javral stopped and pointed ahead, motioning Leonard to slowly push his head through a thick cluster of vines. As his face slowly emerged on the other side, he saw a sight that made him freeze solid. Several dozen beastmen were bleating and yelling around a large crude pillar covered in mind-bending runes. Closest to it was a sickly-looking beastman covered in dirty rags. Wielding a large knife, it cut the throat of an Ungor and lay its body at the foot of the pillar. That, Javral whispered, is a Herdstone, the spiritual center of the herd. Each one is as different as the herd that builds it. Those that follow a particular god have those gods' symbols across its surface, while the Herdstone of the Thunderscorn crack with unnatural energies. No matter its makeup, its presence corrupts everything around it, making even the most highly crafted armor weaken in its presence. And nearby beastmen will never back down or run in fear with the Herdstone at its back. It is truly a powerful and disgusting thing. Now, let's go.
Go where?
To a safe place. This herd won't be moving quite yet, and there is more I must tell you. With that, Javral moved back through the brush, and Leonard, afraid to lose his guide so near to so many beasts of chaos, followed. Hey guys, this is Arvandus, and I hope you enjoyed this video on the Thunderscorn monsters and Herdstones of the Beasts of Chaos. If you like it, please like, subscribe, comment, press that little bell. And if you like it, please consider giving to my Patreon. The extra money, it kind of helps. Kind of helps me keep going and writing these stories and stuff. Anyway, thanks for listening, and see you next time.